Hi there. So today I want to talk about how to empower ELL, MLL students through scaffolding, native language use, and academic vocabulary strategies. I currently teach for grade 7 to grade 9 students. I teach a mixed age group in an international school in Taiwan, and I teach them digital design. So I think the benefit of scaffolding in my own classroom is really utilize their prior knowledge, make ideas accessible, and encourage students to participate. Although we have English first policy, they are also not prohibited to use their first language. One real example from my classroom is we were learning about some jargons, and one jargon is proximity. My students, they're mostly about A2 to B1 CERF level, so I kind of just use simpler terms, for example, like close, far, distance, to kind of illustrate the idea of the jargon proximity. So I kind of like scaffold them from based on where their current level is. The other example is I like to use vocabulary builder. This is to pave the way before they dive into the reading and to kind of highlight the keywords and then make sure they understand the context of how to use these keywords. One example is when we're learning how to do the design briefing to their clients. We were learning one jargon. It is deliverables, and I think for some of my students, they might mistaken it with a food delivery service like Uber Eats, and so I think this is really important to kind of have this builder to highlights the keywords and then make sure that you then know how the words are used in the right context to kind of scaffold them into their learning. I think I want to talk about some benefits of using learners' native language. I think it really serves as a cognitive bridge to enhance comprehension, to also build confidence and facilitate skill transfer. Um, I think, as I mentioned before, we were learning digital design and some content. They are not very accessible. So, for example, in one lesson, we were learning about design principles, white space. We were using the English version of the content, and I think my students they would really benefit from learning through a similar content and concepts using their first language. So we kind of have the same content and material illustrates the concepts in their first language. So kind of just use these two languages, English and Chinese, to complement each other when it comes to learning a more complex concept. The other practical strategies I would say to do it really help them build up their academic vocabulary pool, to pre-teach essential vocabulary, create word banks. These are something I use in my own classroom. I would say some challenges I face in my own classroom is students are digital natives. Sometimes I feel like they've been receiving too much stimuli, like visual, like watching videos or listening to music. And I think when I try to bring in multimodal resources to cater to the needs of auditory visual learners or kinesthetic learners, I think I really need to be smart to strike balance between how much of those resources I want to bring in order to counterbalance that. But overall, I think to bring in their first language, my students' first language, to scaffold them, to help them learn, really have been very effective in my teaching practice. So thank you for listening. I hope this is helpful. Thank you.